So the next tool I want to talk about is HaveIBeenPwned. Now, I'm sure you're already aware of this and the power of it and how good it is. HaveIBeenPwned is a website where they have archived all the database leaks, all the majorly public database leaks that have happened throughout history. So the Rocky word list, that came from a leak, and I believe they've got that on there. The LinkedIn database leak, which happened a while ago, which exposed loads of user-sensitive information, was in there. And what it does is, if you pop in your email address, admin@hacks.org, it will tell you whether or not you've been pwned. I rarely use my email to sign up for anything, but if you think of the potential of this when you combine it with services like Maltego, for instance, you search the internet for email addresses using Maltego, you scrape the web instead of doing it manually, and then you find someone like davidcameron.gov.uk. What you can then do, and I do want to try one thing, but you could just, has any of these been compromised? Okay, so David Cameron, I didn't expect this, but David Cameron's email address was pwned in 2 data breaches. Sister date in November 2020, a collection of more than 23,000 alleged breaches. Websites known as Zero Day were made available to download on several hacking forums. The data consisted of 226 million unique email addresses alongside password pairs, often represented as both password hashes. Anyway, so what I wanted to try was some wildcards actually, and see if you could do that. Can't wildcard search, try the domain search feature instead. Okay, so they do have a lot of sort of powerful information. Okay, so you need to do verification, get an email. Do you have to do that? Verify by email. See, I've not looked at this tool this much, but it is something I wanted to look at and to include, because it's a great open source intelligence gathering tool. Because, for instance, say if you have a client and they just want a penetration test, and you go into the information gathering phase and you don't check whether they've been included in any data breaches. Okay, fair enough. They would probably want to know if any of their email addresses have been leaked. So if you grab their domain name, you know that they've got X employee working for them because you find it on LinkedIn. You can pop their email address in, or do wildcards on the domain like I tried there, or on domain searches, and find out whether they've been compromised. And you can report that information and make suggestions of frequent password rotations. But you could potentially find passwords that are still in use that have been compromised, which would be a huge security risk, because it's not hard to find these database leaks. There was raid forums, which wasn't even on the dark web, which had most of these leaks available. You just had to buy them for cryptocurrency. But you can buy leaks on the dark web. I'm pretty sure you can buy them on the clear web. But HaveIBeenPwned will check any email address, telephone number, which was recently added because of the Facebook leak. I call it a leak. It was just publicly listed information, and they just built a massive word list of telephone numbers. But it will check to see all of your email addresses, domains, phone numbers, and other things that you can submit to it, and check whether it's been involved in a leak. And then, you could go look for the leaks, or just report it and say, okay, we found these email addresses have all been compromised, and you should probably implement some sort of password rotation policy just to make sure. Again, it's a low ball finding unless the password that is included in the database leak is still being used as their valid password. I would have expected some hacker to have gone in and owned that account by the time you're now reporting on it X years later. But it's another great tool. The developers are great. They keep it up to date, and it's worth including in your OSINT open source intelligence gathering, passive information scanning, just to check to see whether any of the email addresses you find through tools like Shodan show up in any leaks.